Quad Neuf Troupier. Welcome to the Notorious Scoundrels. I'm Evan Paul. That is Mike Berry over there. Mike, how's it going?
It's going well, other than I have no idea what you just said.
So what's up, troopers-ish? Sort of.
What's up, troopers-ish? Okay.
In French, there's a reason for that. We have a special guest today, Nicholas Bucaille. Welcome, Nicolas.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour. Comment allez-vous?
Listen, for the sake of both the French and the English listeners, we're gonna leave the French up to Nicolas as he decides it is so fit for the rest of the podcast. But Nicolas, just to give folks some background, we first met at Adepticon when you trounced me not once but twice in 2 different days, so both on day one. But then thank you, Michael. Both on day one when I was able to make it past into day 2, and then on day 2 I had to play both you and Brian Bear, so it was sort of a nightmarish day.
So you had one nice game and one hellish game.
Thank you.
Oh, believe me, it was night and day in terms of the player experience between Nicolas and Brian Bear, as exemplified by the name of your list that you took to Adepticon, which is that you didn't want to run into him. And then, as folks might know, you ended up making it to top 4, which was a pretty awesome performance. And then right after that, you just decided to go on a streak. You went 3-0 at another tournament in Montreal, right? It was not a GT, but it was like a bigger one there.
Yeah.
What was that one called again?
Just Abyss Tournament.
Abyss Tournament, right?
Just
right.
I think so.
But it was like a big one. There was like 30 players there, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And then you went down to Massachusetts, and you took down the Ironwell tournament with So you've been on sort of a hot streak, Nicolas. What's the secret?
CIS and Aqua, I guess.
I was going to say, is the answer to that Sundfac?
Maybe.
But so yes, you mentioned CIS and Aqua. That is what you played at all 3 of the tournaments that I just talked about. How long have you been a CIS player, so to speak?
Since 2.6.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it that drew you?
Before that, I played clones. I still play clones, but so much variety in CIS.
Yeah.
Then clones didn't have.
Yeah.
Want to try a new one. So
2 different types of core troopers for one thing.
Yeah.
3 different actually. So it's a ton of variety. We still have 1. We'll have more than 1 soon.
We have 2.
Pikes.
No, Pikes don't count. When's the last time you saw Pikes in a clone list?
Look, I'm just if we're going to argue technicalities.
That's true. We are all about technicalities here. All right. So before we get into it, have a random patron shout out. So that is to Valingspade3. Thank you very much for your support. I also want to remind folks that we have a contest. It's more of a sweepstakes than a contest or just a drawing. But for
you don't actually have to compete.
You don't actually have to do much. You don't have to write a review or like tell us about why you love the Notorious Scoundrels. We already know that you love it because of Mike's hot takes, and that the rest is just syrup on the pancake.
We know why you're here.
That's right. I think somebody stated that your nickname was Mike. It's not. I think they said, Mike, it's not even that close, Barry. So you definitely have a persona. And then for me, they listed Evan. I can't think of anything funny, Paul.
You do say that a lot.
That's true. I say it sometimes, but I guess I need to leave a little bit more of an impression. But anyway, this sweepstakes thing, we have a Clone Wars starter, Wicked and Logray, Aqua Droids. You know what? I'm going to throw in a Rebel ATRT because I just have some stuff lying around and I want to give it away. Otherwise it's going to take up space and I'm never going to build them. But that's going to be given to a mix of our active patrons and then also any new subscribers to our channel in the month of September. So that's a reason to click the button, and we're just baiting you to do that so we can help out our own algorithm, because the machines are the ones really in control, and we just have to do what we can. So appreciate everybody who signs up for that stuff, and feel free to check out our Patreon if you're curious about that. All right, boring stuff behind us now. Nicholas, we had some new reveals in the last week. I think we'll start with the semi reveals that we have, which sort of went along with the semi reveal that we had of the generic Jedi. This time this was also coming from Asmodee Germany. I don't know what's going on over there in the German Asmodee, but they seem to be just like much more willing to give us screenshots of stuff than they do anywhere else. Not that we're going to complain about it, but let's start with the Super Tac command droid. And this one they decided to make even more confusing than the Jedi Knight and Jedi Knight General thing, because both of these guys are just called Super Tac Command Droid, but the operative is called Auxiliary Command Droid, and the commander is called Command and Control Droid, which might also mix you up with Command and Control Uplink, which is an upgrade that came in the Imperial customizables. So they're just trying to confuse the hell out of everybody with words. But both of these have 5 health, they have red defense, they have surge to hit, they're 2 speed. They both have the same weapon profile, which is a 1-way 2 black aggression protocol in melee, and a 3 black E5S range 1 to 3 range weapon. And then they both have equipped doctrine, of course. They both have override. And then the operative also has aid droid trooper and has 3 courage, which, to some eyes might make you wonder, why is it that the operative seems to have better stuff than the commander does? But Nicholas, I just wanted to know what your thoughts are at first blush, like what these things look like to you. What do you think is going to be on the inside when we open them up?
Hard to tell. But Agent Courage 3, aid trooper, pretty good so far. But without the doctrine, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think the doctrines are going to be
points,
everything for these guys. Yeah, we don't have points either. Mike, I mean, do these open your eyes at all, or is it just like we really need to see doctrines before we can say anything?
I think the thing that stood out to me here is that the super tactical droid is no longer pipped as unique, basically at all, since Kalani and Kraken. I don't even think have that unit type anymore. Like, that's not, like, you can take Kalani and Kraken in the same list now, right?
Yep.
So before, in the before years, you could only ever have one super tac no matter what. Assuming these cards are right, which I think that there is, based on the next card we're going to talk about, I think a possibility that this is wrong, or they are changing, how they are signifying what is unique or not.
Okay. We'll get to that for sure.
But you're going to be able to have 4 super tacs in the list, which is kind of sounds a little gnarly to me based on how good super tacs have been in the past. And I suspect these are probably going to be, I mean, these look like the chassis is great. The Courage 3 super tac operative seems like it's a great place for the what is it? The one we put on Padme all the time to let you use her courage
that
bubble.
Inspiring Presence?
Is that what it, yeah, if that's the one. Like, that seems like a good way to, there's a lot of CIS lists right now that are like, foregoing Dooku for whatever reason, and this is a good way to get Courage 3 if you don't want, I think the only other Courage 3 commander is Poggle, right? Yeah, so if you're not taking Dooku, you don't have to take a hobbly old dude with a cane, even though he's really fast.
Is Poggle really Courage 3? I keep getting
man.
by these Poggle facts.
Yeah.
they just made him cheaper than a T series.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I don't know, man. But I'm assuming, like, it would be weird if a super tactical droid couldn't have a get like a command.
It probably will have a
slot, right?
The operative.
I'm assuming. We'll see, I guess. But so that's the thing.
Speaking of confusing the hell out of people with words, like unless I'm missing something. So the current 3 command cards that we think of as the Super Tac command cards is that they list Super Tactical Droid as the commander, which does include both Kraken and Kalani. But because this is the Super Tactical Command Droid, as written, they would not be usable by these generic guys. So
yeah, I think that that's very clearly intentional.
And I think that that's intentional because I think they want Kalani and Kraken to stand out to a certain extent by having their own command cards. But I'm honestly just thinking of new players, like as they pick up, these starters, and then they look at the print and play stuff. It's just going to confuse the hell out of people.
Now,
so
it has been updated. Now it's Kalani or Kraken on the card.
I was going to say, I think it doesn't say Kalani or Kraken.
Yeah,
right on the cards now.
Okay, I was looking at the old art for the command card. So, all right, there you go. That will have been much less confusing then. So that's good to hear.
They heard you through the ether.
Yeah, that's right. You win this time, Atomic Mass. So yeah, we'll see. I am most curious about whether the silly Droidica spider legs somehow make them faster, because they really probably shouldn't. And then that'll be my next rant about like the game mimicking the art, so to speak. But we'll wait until that day for me to complain about that.
I mean, that's obviously going to be a thing.
You
right?
think it's obvious?
Yeah.
What if it just gives? God, I don't even know.
It's going to give them something. I don't know what that something's going to be, but it's definitely going to be like, maybe it'll give them like some sort of thing where they can like fire a really hefty gun stationary with like no recoil or something, or because they're like on a stable firing platform. I don't know, but I do think that wheel mode is the most likely thing that it gives them.
Again, Michael, the wheel mode works in a Droidica because the top of it is curved and therefore it can become a wheel. But this is just a dude with spider legs.
He'll have a cape. There's less friction. Maybe the cape is like made out of silk.
It's true. You have me there. Well, speaking of wheels, I couldn't resist the segue. Let's talk about General Grievous, the wheel bike warlord. So this has a lot of firsts. There's so many things on this that, for the sake of not forcing people to hear me drone on about all of the various things on here, I'm gonna just let the podcast listeners look at the picture. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna see the unit card. It has a lot going on. I think the things that stand out the most to me about this is the fact that it is obviously a vehicle that is a commander. And then it has this keyword. It has 2 keywords that we have no idea what they mean, which is Command Vehicle 2 and Mobile. And then it has some really crazy weapons. So,
I mean, it's obvious what Command Vehicle 2 is.
Is it?
I do, because right now this commander doesn't have a courage bubble.
It's true.
And it would be weird. There's no reason to put him in the command slot unless you can actually share, like, his rather like if the intent was not to have this unit like have a courage bubble, they would have put this unit in a slot that wasn't a commander, right?
Because they could have just given him field commander and made it a heavy.
Correct. But I think what this opens up is I think field commander may be going the way of the dodo based on this new keyword.
Major Marquand.
I'm sure that they'll probably keep it around, right? Yeah. But Major Marquand is like an entirely a print and play card, right?
Yeah.
I could totally see them in the next update being like, Marquand's a commander now, and he's got command vehicle too. I think this is simply just a Courage 2 bubble. Maybe it's got some additions to that, but I think we can make that leap, I think, fairly easily.
That's fair. All right, well, Nicola, what do you think Mobile's going to be?
Some kind of speeder, I guess, maybe. Got a third move with that?
Man.
A non-compulsory free move?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
because
I can see that.
So I agree that it is probably something like that, but I would like to challenge you.
Mhm.
Why didn't they just print free action move on the card if that's what it is?
Ooh.
Because that's basically what Geo's had.
Yeah.
It could be a expert climber situation, or it could be a scale situation where it might be a free move and then also cover 2.
Sure.
I mean,
It's already
or
got
it could be
climbing
something
vehicles, so
more
the
complex than
scale
that.
sort of thing is kind of covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little more complicated than a move. I don't know what that looks like. I think the difference between this unit having 2 and 3 moves is a really big deal. Well, I mean, that's probably true for every unit in the game, but I think specifically for this unit's profile, the difference between 2 and 3 moves is because there's no steady or relentless or charge on this card.
It would be strikingly slow without a free move for what it is, which is a gigantic wheel. Right?
Yeah, because I think this is on like the bark base.
Yep.
And it's only speed 2, so it's Evan's favorite movement profile. It is a bark with a heavy weapon without compulsory move, at least to our knowledge, speed wise. So, Nicholas, I'd be interested to hear what you think about the offensive attack profiles on this card.
Offensive is awesome, I think. The defense, not so much.
I was going to ask you about that. So
yeah,
we'll start with the offense. I mean, the most striking thing is the overrun attack.
Yeah.
So that's Trophy Lightsabers, Impact 2, Overrun 1, Pierce 1, Ram 1, Scatter, 1 red, 1 white, 3 black, and that he does have Search to Crit. That's really scary.
Yeah.
That's a lot of mods. I mean, and especially if you get results on your red and black dice and then you just ram the white dice and then you're just doing 5 hits Pierce 1 to, like that's in the zone of being able to just like wipe out rebel troopers, right? I mean, you can just take care of business, which is pretty nice. And then assuming he has a free move, that's very, very scary stuff. Ranged weapon is like when you add it to that overrun weapon, it's certainly like not nothing. On its own, it is not a ton, but it's also pretty good. It's like an E-web shot with Pierce is basically what it is. At range 2, big difference there, obviously. But yeah, you mentioned the defense, Nicola, and I was struck by this also because it's a vehicle.
Yep.
You can't hide it very easily.
Yep. No cover, no backup, just armor 1.
I mean, armor 1 is like sort of like it has backup always, kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we'll see if mobile gives covered or if it gives, agile or something, if it has any kind of a defensive benefit of any kind. Because one of the reasons why I kind of think that it might is just because when I look at this, it looks kind of killable.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an understatement, maybe even, if you are out activated and you run up against a let's say an EXD list and you lose and you win priority on standing orders face off, that could be really, really problematic for you. If you're taking 2 snail shots to the dome with this guy, and again, you're like being relatively unable to hide him. Like you could put him behind a big building, but it just often will put you at a disadvantage if you have to hide it behind something that big. So yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing. You have all of these offensive keywords. That's going to make him expensive at the end of the day. And he's got 8 wounds. He's got really good weapons. He's going to be expensive. Like I think he's, I don't know. What would you guess, Nicola? I was thinking like 160 point-ish zone.
Oh no, I think maybe 140, 150.
140. Okay,
Maybe.
that's probably more fair, to be honest.
I honestly think that this unit card is actually if you deleted mobile and we assume command vehicle 2 does what we think it does,
Yeah.
I don't think this unit's very good. On its face, it's going to have 3 command cards, probably. Although I was just looking at the General Grievous command cards. General Grievous command cards are not presently typed to Sinister Cyborg. They are just General Grievous. So theoretically, I think this unit can use the current General Grievous command cards unless they change the typing on those cards. Like they did for like the Ahsoka ones, where it's like Ahsoka, Padawan Commander or whatever. Like the General Grievous cards just say General Grievous on it. But I mean, like, if mobile's not really good, I think this unit's like Commander Luke level. Seriously, I don't know. I don't think it's that far away from that.
You need to know the points before you can say that, Mike.
Yeah.
Right? Because like if Commander Luke was 7
sorry. What I'm
points,
trying to
you'd be
say,
sick.
what I'm trying to say is he's like that's the price range where I would consider it.
Oh yeah, okay, that's
right.
fair.
Like it's
That's
like
fair.
the 110, 120 range is what I think this unit is worth, just looking at the unit card and assuming that mobile says nothing. So I mean, it probably will end up in the 140 range. The 3-pip and the 2-pip for General Grievous don't interact with this card very well. I feel like, I guess the 3-pips.
I mean, giving out Ruthless can be good in a lot of circumstances.
Sure, but you're probably taking this dude in like the all wheel bike list. At least that's the intent,
Yeah,
which
where the
means
core
that you
probably not going to matter much in that list.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that one's like, but I do think the Whirlybird lightsabers
Jedi
is
Arts.
probably pretty good.
It would be a big range of Jedi Arts for sure. Like a much bigger range than the Trooper Mini is able to shell out.
I'm also a little curious. I'm not an overrun aficionado, but you can't use overrun as a melee attack, right?
No, you have to be moving, and so technically, this vehicle cannot start a melee because it does not have.
Sure, and which means it can't move into base contact with things.
Correct. It would have to move into barely not in base contact and stay there.
Okay, and by extension, that means the only way that you can like, I guess you can just like shoot the laser cannon and pistol attacks like front, but you actually have to. You can't like swing your lightsabers at things on the side of you. You know.
With the free pivot and the very loose nature of how overrun attacks work, you would be able to hit anything that's not in your rear arc like pretty easily.
Sure. Okay, that's fair.
And then
it's just a little weird, I guess.
You could just like sort of turn yourself around and get it done. So it is going to be this weird like unicycle situation once it gets on the point of where he's just going to be like going forward and back and then turn a little bit forward and back. So
I guess that's sort of what I'm trying to say, is that this feels like it could be a little bit awkward, and then like you're like, oh, I kind of have to, in order to attack properly, I have to actually make a move. And obviously with overrun, like you can do the thing where you just like move like a smidge. Yeah. But like some situations that's not going to cover, I don't think. I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely will, I think, be a little bit more challenging to play with than I suspect an average unit with a profile like this would be.
Yeah, because man, if you do the unicycle thing, you're just asking for like an Anakin 1-pip to just like ruin him immediately.
I mean, it is pretty notable that this unit, I mean, I guess he's got immune melee pierce, but like it's just melee. So like definitely can get eaten by like, you know, fleets with a shotgun or, you know, clones with the shotgun running around.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it's good. It's interesting to think about because there are so many offensive keywords, but he does seem relatively vulnerable, and so that puts you in a weird place of where do you cost him. And
8 health is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, that's the thing is what the regular Grievous is 110. Is that where he is?
130, I think.
Is this where we bring up the fact that this Grievous doesn't have a unique pip on him?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably just a mistake, right?
Should be, yeah.
I don't know.
The conspiracy theory would be that they actually have a mind to allow you to do the Middle Earth battle game thing, which would be to put the regular General Grievous in your list and then have a mechanic by which when this is destroyed, he pops out of it with an extra wound or something. That would be the like, oh, they were actually thinking of something situation. It's probably not that. That seems like very flowery for Star Wars Legion.
Yep.
It seems flowery, and I think the easiest way to do that would have been to add, just like put a resiliency value on this vehicle, and basically when you hit the resilience value, be like, you got to get out.
Yeah. This is probably like the most. It's probably the most health behind no resilience for any vehicle in the game, is my guess. I mean, 8 health behind red safes, which is handy. If he broke, it would be really rough.
Yeah.
That's actually why I'm like maybe a little bit sus on the idea that mobile is just like a free move, because like he's always going to have 2 actions as a vehicle, which is not really, I don't know, not a thing generally, unless you're like a Imperial speeder bike or a Stap.
Yeah,
right?
Which don't last long enough to have to worry about that usually. Yeah, so cool stuff. So Mike, do you think that there's going to be, wheel bike only command cards here?
I think this is gonna, yes, I do. I think Grievous's current command cards don't work super well with this card. I think it would be weird if this sweet mini didn't have. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this card itself is uninspiring to me for what this mini is, and I think when you put a mini like this on the table, and when you craft a mini like this as a company, you're like,
pour everything into it.
Let's make this awesome, right? Like this needs to be awesome, and this unit card isn't doing it for me. So I am on team. He will have command cards, whether they're in this box or part of a battle force that goes along with him that will be like print and play, I think is maybe up in the air. But I think this is like half the picture, maybe 2/3. I don't know.
You feel the same way, Nicholas? He probably has command cards.
Yeah. But if you can play the one pit from Grievous, search to crit, and
that's right. The regular Grievous doesn't have Surge to Crit.
Yeah,
Surge to Crit and trained in your Jedi arts when your base is like 3 times bigger seems like really good.
Yeah.
So maybe that's good enough on its own. I don't know. The amount of times that I've seen that card whiff normally is high. So I'm a little bit like, I don't know.
It's more for the suppression than the ones, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, right. And it's a good card. It just how good it is less and less good as the game goes on, it seems like.
Fair. So all I can say is that it's only a matter of time, obviously, until we get Obi-Wan on the lizard thing. Obviously, equally important part of the film for all of the 3 minutes that took up. But I'll take anything that gives Obi-Wan 3 more command cards. So the thing that we have, the last thing we're going to talk about is Hondo, and Hondo is a character that we've had almost all the info on already, but there were 2 very key important things missing from the picture before, which we now know because folks have started to get them delivered as part of the pre-order bonus in their stores. And so the things that we know now are the fact that he is 85 points. And then we also know his upgrade slots, which is comms gear and 2 grenades, and that he does not come with any unique upgrade cards that are Hondo only. So that we now know everything about him, assumedly, and when we zoom back out, as a reminder, he can be a mercenary in any basically non-battle force army. from what I can tell, unless they decided to add him to a battle force, which is probably pretty doubtful. So, Nicola, what do you think of the complete package of Hondo Ohnaka?
It's weird. I mean, you got a lot of keyword, but it's very weird. I mean, if 3-pip is good in Gar, I think, because it can give a lot of tokens. But otherwise, this 2 is situational. But so it's so dependent of what cards you play. So you have to take a lot, I think, for him to be effective. So I don't know.
The roughest part to me is that if you are playing your Anakin 1-pip or whatever 1-pip, then he's just a 5 health dude with 1 surge token and 1 dodge with nimble. And if he's not like somewhere really safe, then he can just like die right away. Obviously, like in a 3 or 4-pip, he is a much more annoying target to try to shoot at because he's going to have like all the tokens. But yeah, on the lower priority turns, and then including like with his own commands, I'm double checking. Yeah, because like his own commands, they both order him, which would mean that he wouldn't get the independent dodges. And that in and of itself is rough. Like he would get the reliable X, but boy, it just seems like he can die really fast. Mike, what are your Hondo thoughts?
I think Hondo has the potential to be pretty cracked, to be completely legit. 85 is cheaper than I thought he was going to be, given what we knew. I think he has Hondo's, what he is not is like a unit you can just like slam in any army and like it'll be good, right? Like that's not, he's not one of the new customizable characters that we just got. He's not that, but he is a very unique piece that does a very specific thing, and that specific thing is letting you on one turn basically have as many aim tokens as you want. The other modes on that command card are not very good, I don't think. There's some niches where maybe you take a dodge token or something, but on the whole, I think you're just going to be playing. Is it 3-pip that does that? Yeah, it's a 3-pip, right? His 3-pip, basically you're paying 85 points to have a card that gives you somewhere in the realm of 7 to 11 aim tokens. That's what you're paying for. And everything else he does in the game, I think, is fine. I think the way I think that he slots in pretty clearly to me on the surface is a Commander Vader list where he can't panic, and that's Yoda, like backed up by like a long range gun line in Imperials, which has been one of the problems with those gun lines has been their access to aim tokens. This solves that like almost completely. If you just like gave an Imperial gun line 10 aim tokens on turn 2, and we're like, yep, we're gonna move, shoot, and you can do that basically with certainty because you've also got access to compel. I think he's that's the first place I'm gonna probably put him. I think Empire. I don't know if every Stormtrooper unit has an aim token, and they have like T21s or DLTs, like those pools get way scarier way more quickly. So I don't know. But I think one of the things is that like in order to use him properly, you have to like his command cards are the thing that is good about him. So you need space in your list for the command cards. I actually think he's going to flop in Republic because Republic command cards are sweet. Like we just have good command cards. Like the command card effects our characters bring are like why you're bringing the characters, and like replacing a 3-pip in Republic is pretty hard. I think Separatists are kind of in a similar situation where like their command cards are pretty good, or they want to be playing standing orders on like turn 2 again, but I do think Separatists have the option to probably get the most aim tokens out of this card. Whether getting your B1 an aim token is worth it, I think maybe we could.
You can give it to any unit though for whatever it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, like it's every unit that's a range one of them, right? And so I don't know. I think Empire is definitely the place that he's going to buoy up the most at first. I'm sure other people will find things with him. You definitely need a commander with a high courage value in order to enable that play. Because if you're like sitting at courage value, I guess when you play it, he'll be courage value 3. So like, but like I don't know. If you only can proc it 6 times, that's not very good. I mean, it's fine, but it's not take him for this card good, I think.
That's fair. But Mike, you were considering some like possible Yoda combos there, right? Because like in that situation, you don't have to give up like your good, because you can use your good 3-pip twice in that list. It may potentially mean that you would be doing like start with Yoda 3, then do Hondo 3, then do Yoda 2, then do Yoda 3 again. But I mean, do you think that there's anything there?
Maybe. I'm not sure that there's enough units that actually that like can take advantage of the ability. Because generally you have to like, you've got to separate like 1 or 2 units out from your army, which is gonna make it so that like 1 or 2 of your 10 activations or 11 activations. So like, then Hondo's another one of them. So now you're down to like 8 max, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Empire can like juice this at like 11 or 12 plus Hondo Invader probably, if you're really trying. So I don't know. I think this is a unit that's going to feel like it flops until somebody finds a place for it.
It does. It feels like there's a few combos out there that a lot of that, potentially we just haven't thought of. 85 points is not a ton, but it's also not nothing.
It's a super tack, right? That's what Kalani costs, right?
Yeah, it's about that for sure. And
it's exactly what Kalani costs. Just
yeah, some might say. and you wouldn't. I can't really think of like the upgrades that sort of stand out. That he has 2 grenade slots, which allows you to enable him to have an arsenal 3 ranged or maybe melee shot, but it ends up, unless they start giving out thermal detonators to more folks than just the rebel generics, it's not really, it doesn't feel all that incredible to be paying 8 points for a frag grenade and a blast or a concussion grenade, whatever it is, the one that gives you blast. That would give you a 1 white, 4 black, 1 red search to crit, but it's a range 1, and then he would be exposed and killable and shootable after that. So that doesn't seem super worth it. And then he has a comms and a gear slot that I don't know like what you'd really do with that. So I mean, he's often just going to be his plain old 85 points. And then if you do that, he's not going to be dishing out a ton of damage, which means that you're taking him for his command cards. And if you're taking him for his command cards, it's really probably mostly his 3-pip. I don't know. Nicola, do you think that there's something we might be missing here?
To be honest, I don't know yet.
Well, yeah, none of us really do.
Yeah, but so far, meh. I think it still is expensive at 85, but we'll see.
Yeah, somebody will think of something.
Yeah.
There's definitely ways to make him. Like, I think he'll be all right, but I don't know. It is worth noting. I know that you're kind of like harping on his defense. Having reliable 3 and uncanny luck 3, like.
The uncanny luck does add up. That's fair. I didn't think about that.
Uncanny luck saves are, I believe, technically better than a red surging save. I think on its face, technically.
A way that the reroll is a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like not by a ton,
but it's not
obviously
for all your defense dice,
Well, it depends, right?
Well, it's true. It can be if it's a low attack pool.
Yes, and when you if you're getting attacked by arcs and melee, you're in for a world of pain. But
that's 1-shot territory.
Yeah.
But the one faction we haven't mentioned at all is Rebels, because they have a lot of other very good operative choices. And I don't know. I'm just not seeing it with this guy.
They also have very good command cards generally.
Yes.
The Rebel command cards are pretty important. So,
and they're not much of an aim hungry army per se, the way that they usually run things. I don't know situations where there's Rebel lists that would be like, oh yeah, finally with Hondo 3 pip, I'll be able to execute the attack the way that I want to. Like they already have 2 friggin' land speeders that can shoot twice.
don't get me started on that. I literally just changed my Crucible list because I had spent like 2 hours last night trying to figure out how to keep an ISP alive against that. And the answer is you can't.
Let's get you started because I think that we've said what we need to say about Hondo Ohnaka. And so but we are going to talk about the recent German GT at Norden, but I think that we have some time to get into your waffling that you're doing for Crucible, which you're about to go to this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't call this waffling. No, it's not. Waffling is like, I don't know what I want to play. This is like, I have a concern and I need a solution.
You're waffling on one unit, to be fair. It's not the Kyle Dornbos where it's like, should I take this broken list or this other broken list?
Yeah. So, Nikolai, to bring you up to speed here, and this is going to be released after Crucible, so we can talk about this really.
Yeah,
so
secrets.
Right. So I'm bringing the same list I had at Nova, except I'm trading the big ARF unit out of my Yoda squad, out of the list, and I'm replacing it, or I was going to replace it with an ISP, Force Push on Yoda, and Ahsoka Tano in a core unit. I'm pretty sold on Ahsoka Tano and Force Push, but I've been talking to Brian and Evan, and I'm like, I don't think an ISP is going to live through the land speed or double tap, and I don't think there's anything I can do about it. Like if you just get that matchup, I think the ISP just dies.
Yeah,
I think so.
The same thing that happened to 2 of my Fluttercraft against that jerk. They just die.
I spent 2 hours last night just like trying to figure out if I could make the averages with Luminous. Like if I get Yoda 4 dodge tokens on Luminous and I play it turn 1, if statistically I hold all of those dodge tokens for the ISP, if it can live through the land speeders. The answer is on average it still dies. Okay. Now, to be clear, that's not like a super statistical analysis. This was me just like rolling dice for 2 hours.
There are dice calculators out there, Mike.
There are, but I found that the actual figuring out how to make that work in a dice calculator where I felt sound based on like the outcome that the calculator was giving me was pretty low, because like it's actually like a pretty complicated shot, right? You have the land speeders probably have aim tokens, so that's a little complicated. You've got a vehicle with cover, which complicates it further. Additionally, you've got to figure out, the calculator has to figure out when it's right to spend the dodge tokens against a pool that has cover and armor involved.
When you don't have outmaneuver.
When you don't have outmaneuver, which is actually not cut and dry. So like if it's like 4 hits and a crit in the pool and cover doesn't take any away, you have to spend 2 dodge tokens basically to cancel 1 impact, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be right to do that if it's the last attack, and sometimes it's going to be wrong to do that because it's the first attack and you've got 3 more that you're going to be able to spend dodge tokens on, right? So like so I think if it was a calculation where I was like trying to figure out the attack into the ISP and it was just 1 attack, it would be much simpler. But I'm trying to figure out the efficacy of the ISP surviving 4 attacks that are uninterrupted. And so it gets a little bit more complicated. So I guess, Nikolai, what I'd like to ask you about that is, what's your take on the double land speeder thing, and how has it affected your list building?
I mean, in CIS, I don't really care, to be honest.
Okay.
Because double aqua, you can 2 aqua can kill 1 land speeder, so
must be nice.
yeah. But actually, I played against land speeder, but I play clones right now. But I played triple commandos. So it helps.
That's sort of. I'm hoping the triple commandos will be able to definitely delete one on the opening of turn 2, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I can. I haven't actually registered my Crucible list, so I don't think I can take the ISP knowing that there's a possibility that the Austin Millers of the world are going to be slamming double land speeder into that. I mean, it's
about time for him to run a rebel list, actually, like on his.
It is. I went back and I looked through all the tournaments he's played, and I was like, so what do I think Austin's bringing this time? And I was like, it's been a minute since he's played rebels. So I don't know. I actually think I came to the conclusion that I think Unstable Astromech's gotta get a price hike. After kind of looking at this whole thing. I think the limitations of the land speeder build that it puts on generalist building is like pretty bad. You just kind of can't take white save armor in a list that is like less than 13 activations. If you have the potential of out activating the rebel list, I think this is much more reasonable in that your armor piece might only take 2 land speeder shots as opposed to 4. That's like much more tenable. But Republic, that's like just not in the cards for Republic. It's like nope. it's like nope. That's not a thing we get to do. So they're gonna go twice after you. So I don't know. I think it's obviously a very powerful thing, and I think outside the like going twice at the end of turn 1 and blowing up whatever you want, it's probably fine. Like outside of that exact circumstance, but.
It's in combination with a super high activation list potential, and so being able to very commonly throw 2 of them at whatever you want on your opponent's list is rough.
Sometimes without retribution, right?
Right.
Like it's not unreasonable to move on the board, shoot, and then like end up. I mean, I guess you can't unstable in that situation, but like. I don't know, but we were talking to Brian last night, and he's like, normally I do this on turn 2, and I think that's because he keeps his land speeders safe on turn 1, right? It's like
usually when he doesn't sacrifice it to the Ewok list that he's playing against in the finals, that he barely got away with winning that one. Yeah, so Nikolai, I have a question for you. What do you think is going to go up in points more, the current, like the typical land speeder build or aqua droids with the heavy?
Aqua, for sure Aqua. I think land speeder are strong, but it's not that strong.
They're not aqua strong.
Yeah. You can kill them pretty easy.
I'd rather play against aquas like 9 out of 10 games.
Oh,
personally, that's just personally how I feel about it.
I am just wondering how many like deadly aqua players you've played against.
Quite a few, I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, I guess.
Listen, I ain't that good, but when I play aquas, it feels like cheating. Just the like the range of them, plus the fact that it takes so much effort to actually fully take them out for a less than 100-point unit.
Honestly, I've started to just kind of ignore them. In the like, I don't know. My opponent has to score points with like things that aren't aquas.
Pretty big. It's a pretty big attack pool if you just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
And if you kill one, it becomes like a not mega scary attack pool. But then you have to usually put 2 shots into it to kill one, and then at that point you're putting effort into weakening a unit that you're not actually going to finish off, because finishing it off just like takes more effort than you want to put into it. And so it puts people into this bind where like if they do really invest into finishing it off, then you have the rest of your list, including another aqua droid unit that like still using all of their like bigger attack dice pools. And it feels like it can put people into no-win scenarios to a certain extent.
To be clear, I'm not advocating it for not get a nerf.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, of those 2 evils, I would much rather play against aquas than double tapping land speeders at the end of the turn.
But the land speeders, it probably affects your turn 1 potential a little bit more, but Aquas still affect it quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Luminous goes a long way into defending against an Aqua attack. And it does not go a long way in defending against the Land Speeder attack. The Land Speeders just do so much more damage. It's basically 4 Aqua attacks.
Nicola, were you aware that the Wookiee Chieftain, or as he's called in France, the Wookiee Chef, is actually more expensive, or Chef Wookiee, that's right, is more expensive than an Aqua Droid with a heavy? Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
To catch you up, Michael, my Chef Wookiee died in round 1 against Nicola in both of our games. In the first game, I just left him out there, and I thought that heavy cover and 2 dodges would be enough, but it was not. And then the second game, I really, really tried to hide him, but I could not, and then he just died.
I've been looking for replacements and for the ISP in my list, and I was like, what's in Republican cost about 90 points? I was like, we've got clone commandos, we've got full arcs with medics. I was like, there's Chewie, and then I was like, oh man, maybe the Wookiee Chieftain's like something I could put in there. And I was like, nope.
Maybe Wookiee Chieftain will get the Poggle and Sunfak experience.
I mean,
and then
he's definitely worse than Chewie, right?
He has a command slot, and that's the only advantage that he potentially has compared to Chewie.
But he's got like significant disadvantages compared to Chewie, right? Like he's got like less health.
He has less health.
Like,
but it's so to defense.
He does, but Chewie has reliable 2 on the Republic side, so it doesn't feel like it's
like he got
that
Agile 1, I think. So
yeah,
and like is his melee attack actually pierce? I actually like I'm not sure. I can't even remember the last time I put a Wookiee Chief.
It's duelist, just like the rest of the Wookiees. So you need to have a name to make it pierce.
Oh god.
Which is, it's better. It's better than the lethal that Chewie has, kinda. And then the other thing is that the chieftain has charge all the time, and Chewie only gets it when he's enraged. But that usually happens anyway. Chewie's gun is more reliable at poking damage through because it's got 2 reds, 2 whites. So you're not gonna.
It's an actual joke. This guy is 10 points less than Ahsoka.
Gosh, it really is. Sometimes that just, we say these things, Mike, and it's not like I'm actively hoping that there's a particular audience that's hearing them. But when it comes to talking about the Wookiee Chieftain,
it's not even close.
Come on, guys. let's be real. Do you think that Sunfak so he was 85 points before he got reduced?
Yeah, 80, 85?
Yeah, 85, because him and Poggle both went down by 30. Yeah. Like, do you think that Sunfak or old Sunfak or current Wookiee Chieftain was more overpriced? Because Sunfak went down by 30.
Yeah, I still think Chieftain. Yeah.
All right. So 35 points down for the Chieftain. It's official.
Let's go.
Let's do it. I mean, 65-point Chieftain, and then the Wookiee players are going to be like, well, what about Wookiee Warriors though? Because now that they're so much more expensive than the Chieftain, we should take them down by 20 also. And then we're cooking.
Let's go.
Then my dreams can come true. All right. So we're also going to talk about a recent GT that happened in Norden. Mike, why don't you tell us about this GT? And I think we should start with covering who the 2 undefeated players were. They just played 5 rounds.
They did.
And they just like kind of called it there. But we should start by covering that. Do you have that one pulled up?
I do. I've got it right here.
Yeah. So let's talk about who was 5-0 there.
Yep. The 2 undefeated players were Sidious 66, bringing glory to the Palpatine that is no longer with us, I guess.
Right,
and Andreas Roeder.
Man.
And
killing it.
Yeah. So Sidious was playing CIS. Nikolai, do you care to guess what he was playing?
Aqua, I guess. Kalani,
guess.
Aqua,
Yeah.
Geos, maybe.
Yep. Aquas, Geos, Sunfac, Asajj, Droidekas. Man, that's just like when
It's
you read out a
14X.
CIS. When you read out a CIS list, it's just like, man, they
It's-
just have everything.
Yeah.
Notably, Kalani's here. Pretty standard.
Yep.
Andreas played
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Also, I think this might have been 15X actually. I will say
he played the French special version of the Ewok list, like basically a copy from Zaw's list, which why mess with what works. That's the version where you just have 4 naked skirmishers, 2 rebel troopers with SX-21s, and then all the rest of the stuff that goes into every Ewok list to round it all out.
The top 9, and I say top 9 because that was the effective undefeated cut after day 1. The average activation count was 13.
Jeez.
And that included 2 Republic lists, like weighing that down.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I think a lot of the Rebel and CIS lists that were in this top 9 were 14 to 15 activations. I mentioned that just because I feel like with every super large tournament we've seen, I feel like that number is creeping up. Part of that I think is due to the Rebel and CIS lists are just dominating more and more. And therefore the factions that have less activations are not contributing to that average, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I figured it was worth mentioning. And I think there was 3 Ewok lists in the top 9.
There were 3 Ewok lists, and then I think it was one double land speeder, and then there was a single land speeder triple tauntaun that was there. That was definitely the spiciest list that was in that top cut from the initial day.
Everything else was pretty meta.
Everything else was very, very meta. I mean, as you'd expect from the land of German efficiency, is that there's lots of meta lists running around. But it's Nicola, your world's list was 12X, right?
Yep.
And these days, you're playing Republic now, but your Ironweld list was how many?
12 too.
It was 12 also.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Do you think that 12 was enough? You didn't have Dooku in that one though, right?
No, I got Grievous and Maul.
Grievous and Maul, right?
Yeah.
If you were to take a Separatist list to a tournament right now, would you still be hovering at 12X, or would you be shooting to be higher than that?
Still 12, yeah.
Okay. What's your thought process behind that?
Because I will sacrifice too much upgrade, I think, to go to 13. So I prefer 12, but solid units, rather than 13 and not so great.
Yeah, that Sidious 66 list, it was 14. And as far as the units that are real threats, it had Asajj, 2 Aquas, and then a slight level down from that, you had 2 Spiders and a Deca, and then the rest is all Kalani and Naked Core, stuff like that. So
he's got 3 4-spike Geos in here too.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot about that part. Is that he put Force Pike on 3 of his Geos, which most people either just do super squads or leave them naked. So that was different also. Since I haven't really played Geo list yet, I have sometimes been wondering about they move around so much. It seems like the overrun attack would be useful, but it's what are they 18, 20 points? What is the heavy run on them?
15.
15? Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Have you tried out the Force Pike? How do you feel about it, Nicola?
I tried in the old version.
Yeah.
But now I think not sold yet, because if you go and melee with them, they die. So, and you still you got 1 dice per attack, 2 in range. So, prefer to stay safe in range, peekaboo, rather than go into melee and die. So,
yeah, that's fair. Of course, like with the overrun, you can still be safe, and then you're just like getting a free poke at guys, but it's not a ton of damage. And that overrun is that overrun suppressive or is it not?
Yeah,
it is. Okay, so that helps too. But yeah, so fairly meta list, but of course that's for a meta that's about to go extinct, right? Or partially extinct, because the Rebel Imperial customizable are going to come out. That's going to be a big bonus to both those factions, and then it's only going to be like 3 weeks after that we're going to have 2 new units each for CIS and Republic, and then also probably a points change, and so then everything truly goes out the door at that point.
Yeah, Republic's getting 3 with the marksman too.
Well, I think it was I was talking about them. Yeah, so it's actually 3 new units, right? Because you have the generic Jedi operative and commander, and then CIS has Grievous and the 2 new ones. But so at that point, it's like a total reset, like probably the biggest total reset that the game has had since 2.6 happened.
Ever.
Mike thinks it's even bigger, which I don't think makes any sense, but we're just going to push that past that part.
Don't mess with my narrative, Evan.
Sorry, I'll stay away. But Mike, aside from the actual like winners part, there's another interesting aspect of this tournament that we wanted to cover, right?
Yeah, so this was an AMG GT. I want to highlight and underline that because normally, I mean, I don't know if there was permission given or if they just like kind of did what they wanted to do. There's like a pretty strict criteria for how to run a tournament as an AMG GT.
The Galactic Conquest rules is what they refer to, which is just like a standard Swiss format with cuts that are dictated by how big your tournament is.
Yeah, and so this tournament was still doing that technically. They obviously were like a round short on finishing it out, but that's not really a big deal. The thing that's a big deal was that they basically took turn 0 and tossed it out the window, for lack of a better term, and replaced it with what they wanted with something completely different. And so what they did, people that are familiar with Middle Earth will probably be a little familiar with this, in that the tournament had fixed mission cards every round. So, on round 1, you played, intercept signals and recon mission or whatever. And then round 2, you had like a set thing. And like everybody in the tournament played the same game or the same objectives every round, right? And you knew that ahead of time. So when you got to the tournament, you could have a list prepared for the objectives you were playing. And now, so they did not repeat primaries or secondaries.
Which ones did they leave out though? Because
I believe they left out intercept, and I don't know what the secondary was that they left out. I would have to look. I can actually look if you give me a second.
Because that would matter in terms of like list choice, right? Because especially if it was something like they left out close the pocket, and then they left out destroy enemy base.
I think it has the potential to, but you are playing like basically like 90% of the objectives in the game over the course of the tournament, so you kind of have to be ready for anything. The ones that they left out were intercept signals and surface scan. And it was more if they were still going to play that if there was going to be a finals, which it sounds like they chose not to have. So like basically, had they actually done a round 6, they would have played every primary and secondary.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the way they handled advantages was that you still rolled off at the beginning of the game, and the person who won the roll off gets to decide whether they want a pick of table side or they get an advantage card that is not advanced intel. They, for all intents and purposes, they took advanced intel and they banned it.
Previewing what the actual state of the game is potentially going to be in like 4 months.
Maybe, I don't know, but perhaps I'm not sure if like you brought 3 advantage cards and those are the 3 you got to pick from. I actually think you probably got to like just pick an advantage, one of the 5 advantages left that like fit that game. So you're like, oh, my opponent's got armor, I'm taking ordnance, and actually what I think is a little interesting about that is like if something like garrison is like way more something you can plan for in a format like this, because there's going to be like half the time you're going to have it, so
what do you think about it, Mike?
I think this is awesome. I think this is fantastic for a variety of reasons. I think that it is okay to change the format of a tournament like this ahead of time. Normally, I'm a little bit mixed bag on that because this isn't GT and it is supposed to be like run a certain way. But I do think that as long as people know ahead of time, I'm like kind of okay with it. And I also think that the turn 0 is something that I think probably needs a look at. And I think that this is the community coming up with potential solutions for how to handle that in the future. I do think, I don't want to rag on 2.6 because we've at this point like played a lot of it, and I think that it is pretty good, and there are some things that are good about it, there are some things that are bad about it. I think the banning system is like just worse than what we had before, and I think that this is, I don't know, I haven't talked to Finn who ran the tournament about this yet. I would like to in the days to come, but it looks like this is them looking for an answer to make turn 0 better. It seems clear that they basically were like, we don't want advanced intel in this tournament for starters, which I think is fine.
It's totally fine in my opinion.
And I think that, I'm not sure this is the solution. Like if there's like a solution to making turn 0 better, is this the solution I want to see in every tournament moving forward? Probably not. I do think that the choosing the mission system and stuff was cool, but I do think it used to be cooler. And now it seems a little bit random. You roll some dice and one person basically gets to be like, this is the objective we're playing at the end. I saw some talk on Legion Discord about like, yeah, man, whoever gets red player just like digs for advanced intel. And I was kind of like reading it thinking like, yeah, I feel like you guys need to think about the game a little bit more because that's definitely not what to do if you're a red player. And I think it's dangerous to like simplify it to that. I think, because red players, or when I say red player, the person that lost the roll off, just has way more power than just digging for advanced intel. They get to set the terms of the engagement.
They get to decide what their primary is what often matters. Or sometimes deciding what the secondary is because their primaries are the same, and that is like ridiculously huge.
Well, that's the thing, right? You're like, you look at the primary and you're like, am I okay with this? If no, well, I'm going to make it something that I am okay with. If yes, and like with 100% certainty, and then you just go down the chain. And if the answer to primary and secondary is I'm okay with both of these things, then you're like, yeah, now I can dig for advanced intel, right? And make the advantage that the primary and secondary happening to be both things that I'm okay with already, like, now the advanced intel just skews even further because you're already in a good situation, and now you have a coin flip or whatever to dig out a 15% win rate on top of it. So.
Well, Nicola, I'm curious, what do you think about the format choice that they made over there?
I think it's a good idea in a regular tournament, but not a GT.
Why is that?
I think, like Mike said, you remove the turn 0, and in a big tournament, I think it's pretty big. So
it does, like, one thing you could say is that that does take away a form of skill expression for two players, is being able to navigate around turn 0, because there's quite a lot that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question I would ask of you, Mike, is, do you think that the predictability of the battle cards contributed to the top cut being very quote unquote meta, given the fact that like it favored lists that could play most of those objectives well, and so it in and of itself it probably favored high activation lists because intercept transmissions is actually a list that can favor low activation lists a little bit more. But the tournament had shifting, it had research, which are both of those are often going to be like common favorites of CIS lists. And so again, like we ended up in this place where we saw a bunch of Aquas and XX34s and Ewoks. Was that partially because it took turn 0 out of the equation?
So I think any answer that we're going to give here, I think, is entirely theoretical
because it's theoretical. That's the nature of podcasting, Michael.
It is. I just wanted to like emphasize that here because this is one tournament. It is a very small sample size.
Yeah, for sure.
I do think that I want to use my Nova games as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I played some combination of all bunker assault and close the pocket. Like those are literally the only 2 primaries I played in Nova. And I think I also played.
That sound kind of boring, actually.
I also played all sweep and clear and bring them to heal. Like those were the only 4 battle cards I played. With maybe like an exception, we played like service scan one game, but like for all intents and purposes, I played 6 games of some combination of those 2 primaries and 2 secondaries. And my list is really good at them. Like that's what it does, right? Yeah. Like I'm like, I really want these things. And if I'm put into situations where I have to play breakthrough with my Yoda list, all of a sudden, like my list, my game gets a lot harder, right? And so when we look at a format like this, where you are 100% playing breakthrough, like it's just you're playing it. And in this situation, you're playing it round 4. So you're probably playing it against a good opponent too. It's not like you're playing it round 1 and maybe you get somebody that is less experienced than you because it's early on in a Swiss tournament. If you're looking to win this thing, you're playing against someone else that is also 3-0 at a 64-player tournament that like probably is pretty good, right? So you're playing breakthrough against someone that like is good at the game, probably. That's totally going to go into consideration for like building a list and like handling, like if your list can't handle breakthrough at a highly competitive level, like normally you would just try and ban out of it.
Most Empire lists, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So like if you can't ban out of it or attempt to ban out of it, you know, normally at least you have a coin flip to be able to say, no, I lost the roll off and we're absolutely not playing breakthrough.
Yeah.
I have other problems with like how, like, I wish it was not a coin flip and like there was like a little bit more negotiations that happen there, but like at least there is a coin flip right now. And so I do think that forcing people to play all of the objectives is limits list building, I do think. Or at least what can win in those circumstances. You know,
you mentioned Middle Earth. Is that how Middle Earth tournament is run? Is that everybody knows what the order of objectives is going to be?
Generally, I would say that the Middle Earth tournaments are, yes. However, their objective set is much more relatable to the old Legion objective set, like hostage exchange and recover the supplies.
Generally,
well, varied is not even the word I would use. I would say that they are more. You can have very specific things in your list that are like, this is the unit that takes care of hostage exchange for me. The rest of the list can fight. Whereas in all of the Legion objectives right now, every unit has to score. Every unit has to be part of your objective plan. Whereas, you know, in Middle Earth, it's like a lot of them are like very similar to like your guys need to go pick stuff up and carry it off the board or like retrieve something and carry it back. So you've got like some guys on horseback that go and pick it up, but the rest of your guys are like fighting a combat. In fairness, I'm talking about Middle Earth 2 years ago. I have no idea what it looks like now because I don't really play it at the moment. But this is how it used to be. I in this format is very similar to how it used to be. I'm not sure how similar it is now.
And to be fair, Infinity is also this way, but those objectives are insane. It's like an entire page worth of document for each objective, and it's like 10 paragraphs long, and it's what has scared me away from ever wanting to play that game.
Middle Earth is the same way.
Okay, well, shit, sounds like a lot. And then X-Wing 2.5 RIP, I think was that way. Like that had 4 much simpler objectives, but that they would all get played in a tournament. And Sigurd List had to be able to kind of handle whatever. It does. I don't know. There's pluses and minuses. If you had to guess, Nicola, do you think that AMG is going to wildly change the turn 0 structure by like a year from now?
I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. No, not yet. Maybe later, but no.
Maybe later. But like their starter sets are literally just about to come out, and so
the game hasn't released yet, so we're clear.
That's fair, sort of.
I mean, like realistically, like the soft release. Or I guess this is the hard release now, right? That we're coming up. It hasn't even happened yet.
So does that mean that, like, even by the end of the year, that Shadow Collective, like, still will be an unreleased Battle Force, and that people are just playing beta tested units? So
I'm not sure that's a fair metaphor or analogy.
That's true. Like, it's fair that like the components are about to come out for the first time, and that we'll finally not all the time be using like 3D printed POIs, or in my case, washers from Home Depot, to mark the things that we didn't actually have tokens for yet. So it's true. But if they were going to change it, for the starter set release, they probably would have done it by now. So I think the rules are what they are for at least the next year and a half, I think.
I would like to say that the people that I have talked to that have participated in this tournament so far really liked it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I haven't heard anything negative from the people that were involved.
There's going to be pluses and minuses, and the pluses might outweigh the minuses as far as we know. So I do hope that AMG is at least like paying attention to it, and hopefully that one of them will get in touch with Finn and talk it out about considering this for the future, or maybe even as like an officially supported alt format or whatever. In the old days, X-Wing had sort of a different format for regular regionals and then a different one for big regionals. And so that's the sort of thing where it's sort of like in soccer, or now in the NBA, you have like the regular season, but then there's like mini tournaments that happen during the season, and it's like an alt format. It's the kind of thing that could pick up steam. So hopefully they're paying attention. But yeah, thanks for that, Mike. I think that we should round things out by going back to our good friends at ChatGPT. We have, I think, an official name for this, thanks to Sean Kogulski, which is that we're going to call this Clanker Content Curation for Lazy Podcasters, or C3LP. That's just what we're gonna call this droid. And Nicola, have you heard this segment before? It's extremely clever. Like no one else could have possibly thought about this segment, about us talking to ChatGPT and just telling us a unit to talk about. It has at this point, it's given us some incorrect facts about units that actually exist, and it's also in an episode that's not even released yet, it gave us Imperial Royal Guard when Evan Bulleris was on the cast, and that was kind of a rough reminder to him, especially of times that have gone past. But Michael, what is C3LP going to give us today?
I will say C3LP is giving me problems. I might have to switch to a different
memory wave.
Yeah, we might have to memory wave. He keeps on. He claims it's random, but it's starting to not feel that way. I've seen the name Boss come up way too many times at this point. Doesn't feel random.
And then like, do you type something demeaning to it? Like when you say that we've already talked about that one, you say, "No, idiot, not that one."
I very firmly say, "Pick another, please."
You say
So
please, though. That's smart of you, actually, because again,
I mean, when the Terminator comes from me,
exactly.
There's going to be us, it's, I want to at least be like, hey man, I was nice to you.
I said please.
Yeah. So today we have a different range 4 unit, not Bosk. It is the E-Web Heavy Blaster team.
Okay.
From the Galactic Empire faction. The unit type is support. The keywords are Sentinel, fixed front, and cumbersome. And this is the play style that it thinks it has. Stationary but powerful. The E-Web lays down suppressive fire and controls lanes with range 4 attacks. Best used to lock down objectives or defend key positions.
That's probably the best description I've heard so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always suppressive, but it usually is.
Probably should have that keyword on the card, to be honest.
It probably should. It's a machine gun, right? Like, it's what they do.
It's like it's like more than a machine gun. It's like a heavy
machine gun.
Heavy machine gun emplacement. You know?
Nicola, how you seen a lot of E-Webs out there?
Nope. I got a friend who tested with Blizzard Force quad webs. It was fine, but
I liked the concept of quad EOS before Strike and Fate existed, and then that came out, and I was like, okay, I'm back on. If you're gonna run Blizzard Force, which is only so anyway, I'm definitely back on the speeder train. It's funny that EOEVs, Mike, when 2.6 was first announced, it was certainly one of the units that got like one of the bigger changes to it, going from range 3 to range 4. And I think it might have also gotten a slight points cut since then. I can't remember that part, but
I think they're 60 right now.
Okay. I think that like many things in Empire specifically is that the hype ended up sort of outweighing the actual results. Like, why do you think that is, at least in the game?
Because it's Empire and everything in it sucks. I don't know.
That's right, Mike. Just bait the commenters. That's what you're best at, isn't it?
You got it. I don't know. I think E-Webs could be good. I think to say that maybe more nicely, Empire army lists lack a cohesive strategy. And
shoot guys.
It's just kind of shoot guys right now. And I think because there's not generally like super cohesive strategies other than run on the point with like dewbacks and Vader and whatever other cheap things you can bring to the table, like the Empires have not demonstrated that they have another list that really works with regularity. And until they do that, I don't think a unit like the E-Web really fits into their business model, frankly.
You also did mention dewbacks, which happens to take up the same slot, which means that if you're using their best like encroachment melee unit, that each one of those is going to take away from your ability to run E-Webs. It seems like they really want Empire to be a emplacement / slow dude shooting from the back faction. Like, especially, they gave an entire doctrine to a dude who literally just does that.
This is why I think Hondo is going to be good there, to be honest, or potentially be good there, because
in like a mass,
like in a bunch of lists. Yeah, and a bunch of dudes shooting at long range with Hondo standing behind a pillar. Like, if you and your long range, if you have 4 E-Webs get name token, 4 stormtroopers with RTCs get aim tokens, and some death troopers or something, like all of a sudden you're re-rolling like 20-30 dice because you have precise on a bunch of units.
It's a big ball of units in 1 point, though. So
it is, no doubt. I mean, and that's definitely part of the problem, right? Like, if you're not playing like bunker assault, you're like, uh-oh.
There's a reason, like, I think a lot of people were attracted to the Rebel Boba 3-pip on the Imperial Boba, the one that would give an extra black dice to everything. And, you know, it could set up for some pretty, like in Old Legion specifically, it could set up for some pretty nice range 1 attack pools. But again, it also meant that your whole army had to be standing around next to Boba Fett to start the match. And that was like more doable in Legacy Legion than it is now, where you need to be more spread out in just about every game and on just about every objective. And so, yeah, but yeah, like I think that to sum it all up, standing back and shoot strategies are not great for like most of the primaries that exist in the game right now, and that's like the thing that Ewoks can do. And then in non-Blizzard Force lists, they're competing with dewbacks, and even now, like they're competing with speeder bikes in non-Blizzard Force lists, which are much more of a consideration with Strike and Fade existing in the game. And so it's not necessarily that they're like I don't think the unit is bad, right? I mean, it shells out a good amount of dice, and its survivability is like pretty decent for the low cost that you're paying for it. It just doesn't fit.
When I play against Austin at Iron Man, he got just one, but it was annoying because 2 dewbacks, one with a Duggan, I think.
Yeah.
So I cannot kill it, so my quads just melt. But yeah, just one is enough, I think. Just don't spam it. It's good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Did Austin run it with an HQ uplink also?
I don't remember. But
probably not, because he
if it had dug in.
Activate.
Well,
but he could just when he draws the support tokens, he's usually going to want to activate the dewbacks first anyway.
Well, don't you have to have a face up for dug in to like trigger this?
You just need to be unactivated.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I did try the HQ version, and it's just like too expensive for what it achieves. It's just
I believe that.
Yeah, I mean, you told me that from the beginning, and you tried to warn me away, and then I just did it anyway, and found out.
I do what I can, but sometimes you don't listen.
Doesn't mean I have to listen to you. But yeah, like, hey, there's going to be X number of new objectives at some point in the next 6 months. Probably sooner rather than later. I would not be super mega surprised if they just show up along with the points update in November, which would be pretty wild.
I don't think they're going to release them.
I think they'll be.
But
I think
we'll
get
previews. Yeah.
But they've said that they were aiming at the first couple months, like January or February, to actually release them. And so. And I think that they mentioned on a Grey Squadron interview, like almost a year ago at this point, that the new objectives they were considering were a little bit more gunline friendly.
I've heard rumors. I don't actually have like confirmed. I've heard people saying that they like heard devs say that like hostage exchange and like payload are like coming back. But like obviously in like a different.
On that
format.
interview, they use those as examples of things that may have inspired some of the newer objectives, I think is what they exactly said.
Yeah.
If they want to bring back hostage exchange, I will not argue, because I like that objective a lot, except for the stalemates that it created. I liked everything else about it.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know you loved the stalemates also.
Stalemates, I think, like, are and continue to be one of the more interesting parts of the game, and that like breaking a stalemate is super, super interesting thing. It's like one of the most interesting things that you can do. And I don't know, it just requires both players to be playing at a very high level, and the first person that makes a mistake loses. I don't know. It doesn't really happen in the new game, but
there was nothing more thrilling than taking Plinky range 5 shots at each other in Legacy Legion, and just like
people say that, but like the pivot points of those games were often somebody negotiating like a force user into a position over the course of multiple turns to like make a play, and those plinky shots like enabled those setups to happen and like contributed to like how that like game scenario ended up. I don't know. I think the range 5 plinkiness is not giving it the weight and perhaps level of complexity that actually went into those games.
Or, if you were Rebel or Imperialist, it was even better because then you were up against either Yoda or EXD, and there was not a dang thing that you could do.
Sure, you just died.
And that was the most fun, right?
Yeah.
For half of the factions in the game.
So to close out our Clanker segment, I asked the Clanker an additional question today.
Oh, okay.
And I
double Clanker today.
I wanted to read you guys the answer because I thought it was funny. I asked C3LP, is that what we're calling it?
That's right.
Okay, C3LP, what the best unit in Star Wars Legion was.
Ooh.
Well, see, here's the thing: is do you have memory turned on this one? You do not, right?
I do not. No.
Because if you did have memory turned on, what it would be doing right now, and this is the reason why AI is so messed up. I'm just gonna get on my soapbox for a quick second here. This is our podcast, Mike, so we're allowed to do this. Is that it would try to figure out what's the answer that you want to hear, and then that's what it would tell you. Because
it definitely didn't do that. It definitely didn't do that.
Well, that's because memory was turned off. But anyway, what did it tell you?
So it printed out like a 2-page document with charts and tables and stuff. However, at the end of it, it says my take if I had to pick one.
I hate the first person graphic. Just makes my skin crawl. We need, we're memory wiping C3LP right after this. And we're going to tell it to not use first person.
If I were forced to pick a unit from what the community seems to agree on and what I see in lists that is often among the best in many situations, I'd lead towards Stormtroopers.
Okay.
So this, ladies and gentlemen, is why AI is not there yet. This is not Cyberdyne. I think what it actually probably did was that that unit may be the one that is most mentioned online, like generally in the game of Star Wars Legion, because especially because it was in the original core sets, but then also a Stormtrooper upgrade set came out after that. So that's like 2 different sets that had the same thing. And then it's also the thing that's been talked about since the beginning. And I bet that is why I picked that as the best one, because I literally just found the most people mentioning it on the web.
Which is maybe a food for thought for AI users out there.
Yeah, man. The stuff is not what people think it is.
It's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick a unit from the worst faction in one of its worst slots. Yeah. And I'm not even going to pick the best thing in it.
Right. If it said, it's not as if to say that the Ion Snowtrooper is the best unit in the game, but if it did say that, then I would be raising an eyebrow about hey, is this thing actually starting to think a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because that's one of the most spammable units in the game, at the very least. It's the rest of the faction that's dragging it down more than that one, but so it's not quite there yet, which is better for all of us.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, Empire players. Someday I will not talk about you like you're all Riot Control Squad, but right now...
It's not like it's their fault, Mike.
I know.
We're not talking down to them. Listen, Empire players, you're not supposed to take it personally that your faction is still having problems. It's doing better than it was before the recent changes.
Marginally.
It is kind of marginal. It's surprisingly marginal, actually. But
hey, speaking of, Nikolai, what do you think about Command and Control Uplink?
Oh,
before we close this out.
Busted!
Thank you. Thank you so much for reaffirming us. So it's the best thing that a guest can possibly do in this program. You're just guaranteeing that we're going to invite you back at this point. So, it's probably already been said to death, but why do you think it's busted?
Way more too powerful.
What command card do you think it is most busted with? Is it Vader's Might? It might be Vader's Might.
Let's say Vader's Might, I guess. Any one pip who does not have cunning, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, and given the fact that Voracious Ambition is now their only cunning 1 pip because they took it away from Callus.
Well, and the only cunning 1 pip they had access to didn't have any text. Like it didn't actually have an effect on the game state.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Right? Like it obviously like there's text on the card, but the text on the card is just like who you get to activate
gives you
first.
Better order control.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, like the strength in it was cunning, because back in those days, they obviously quickly forgot this when they designed Dooku, but back in those days they were like, cunning is really powerful. We should probably not have like a insane effect on this card. And then like a year and a half later, they were like, let's print Count Dooku and put the most insane effect on a cunning 1-pip. But like, yeah, you basically you think about what 1-pips would be made insane if they too were on a cunning character, and you know, Vader's might feels like one of them to me anyway. The funny thing is that I think we mentioned this last time, is what may have been the most insane was "And Now You Will Die" with command and control uplink, and it makes me wonder if that was part of the reason why they put him next to the Ark of the Covenant for now. But you know, I guess like aside from Vader's might, though, is there anything that's really really powerful to have an automatic go first effect in the Empire? Like, it's not Face Me.
Yeah.
It's certainly not any of the Inquisitor cards. God bless them.
Maybe Whipcord? Maybe?
I could see
Maybe.
Whipcord.
Maybe.
That's a good one. That's a good one for sure.
That requires you to play Boba Fett.
Yeah. True.
Oh, hey, Merciless Munitions.
That's like
not bad,
a terrible shout to, like, if you are like 100% positive you can go first with Merciless Munitions, that card, like,
You could do some
Reptilian
damage.
Rampage triple move into Merciless Munitions is actually like a play pattern that you can like now 100% pull off, right?
Maybe we're onto something, because like one of the biggest problems with Merciless Munitions is that if your opponent has like a, you know, if they have a Jedi Luke there, then, and they think that you're about to get munition, then they're just going to Son of Skywalker and then instantly kill Bosk. Like, he's just going to die and disappear and you won't get to do your thing. But this would
You don't even really need the Son of Skywalker. You just need a unit that has like throws like more than 7 dice.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, consensus is command and control busted, and you know, we'll take a little bit less time for this one. But what do you think about thermal detonators, Nick?
I don't think it's that busted. I think it's that good. It's one time. So Mike's face.
We got eyebrows now.
It's good, but I mean, it's still 5 or 6 health white save.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to try and not load this question.
You're in trouble now, Nicola. You have said Michael.
What if, let's imagine a world where Sunfac had Arsenal 2 and a grenade slot and could take that upgrade. How would you feel about it?
I mean, you can move 3 times, so...
Hang on. False equivalence, Mike. Sunfac can move 3 times.
No, look, I said...
However, okay, but
I mean,
equivalence that
the Rebel operative can get like
relentless,
right?
Then it's the same, right? From a move and attack standpoint.
Yes. So like realistically, it's not sure, but jump is like not that integral into that working, right? No, you can still climb, move, attack or whatever. So
yeah.
I mean, I think we're laughing about like, okay, if Sunfac had 7 dice, but I don't feel like those two things are that far away from each other.
Okay.
I'm asking you. This is me asking you.
Yeah. I mean, I have to see, but so far, just white save. You can die pretty quickly, and you have to go in close before you can do that. So, not sure. Even if you got close. Just one time. Okay, it hurts one time. Then, sure.
I think to me it's more just about the fact that it's 3 points.
It's basically free.
And, yeah. Anyway, I already said lots of my
well, let me ask the follow-up question, because it sounds like the white saves seems to be putting you off it. What do you feel like combat armor is enough to make you feel like that is a better play?
That's expensive.
Yeah, stop. I'm asking him, Evan, not you.
I'm sorry. I'm just openly wondering.
Still with combat armor. Is it officer and agent? Okay.
Yeah.
Agent is still 5 health. So,
yeah.
Officer, maybe.
Sure.
But I'm not that scared. I have to see first. But so far, not impressed. It's cheap. I agree.
It's cheap. Yeah. I don't think it's
You've been
going to be
playing with
like...
Aqua Dreads for too long. Nick.
Yeah, right.
Anything to impress you.
Not scared anymore.
He's over here with his 55-point Sun Fac, and he's like, "Yeah, it's fine. You can give them whatever they want." I've got my 55-point lightsaber already.
I'm fine.
Your day will come. They're gonna move Aquas up by 5 and then change nothing else in CIS. And then CIS is still gonna be just like trampling over everybody.
Yep.
Can't wait. Well, when that happens, I kind of bet it will. We'll have. I think we'll have you back sometime as long as you want to be back. As long as we were nice enough to you. Mike was on his best behavior. I really appreciate that. Michael, he's usually very rude to our guests.
I see what I do what I can.
Before we go, I have to ask a question for you guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From French players, why are Ewoks not more popular in US? Except the price. Because for French players, it's the best list in the meta.
I actually... I think that is... I can't give you a reason other than that, because I think it is a very good list. I think that is the reason, yeah. I don't know... I also think that we have a... I don't know if this is like a... I feel like at least on the East Coast, we are very Republic Empire heavy. As far as like what people play, I don't know. I think it's an awesome list. I think it's similar to
it's the best list.
I think it definitely could be. I definitely have not gotten enough reps against it because people just don't play it around here. I would say that we have one player over here that plays Ewoks a lot, but he doesn't really go to like a ton of tournaments and stuff. I don't know. I feel similarly about EXD, although like EXD, like the money definitely isn't a problem. Like, I just don't know why people aren't playing EXD either.
EXD isn't like quite as flexible as Ewoks are.
That's fair. I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe there's a little bit of hipsterism going on here. Like, I played against like 4 rebels at Nova and none of them brought land speeders, and I think if you're doing the rebel thing, like, and you don't have a land speeder in your list right now, you're kind of crazy a little bit. At least if you're trying to take down a tournament, right? So, I don't know. I do think that overall, I would say that the U.S. and North America right now might be the most casual competitive scene out of the major hotspots around the world. If I was a betting person, which I'm not, I think I would be willing to make that bet. I think the competitive scene here has kind of went down pretty significantly over the last like year. I'm hoping that it picks up as far as like people playing competitive lists specifically to win tournaments. I think the rest of the world has kind of stayed on that boat a little bit more. Have held on to it more than we have. I don't know how you feel about that, Evan.
It seems that way a little bit. But to me, I like to just like to use the Occam's razor in whatever situation I'm in, and to me, it's the fact that an Ewok list is plus or minus, $50 or so. It's like a $600 list.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason people don't play Wookiee Defenders. It's like,
well. That has even more problems. Like, that costs a lot and it's terrible. So it's not like the best combination for making it popular. But it is significantly cheaper than Ewoks. Because you think that if the average list is running like the French special has four regular core, but then it's 3 super slingers. And so that is, you're basically talking about 10 or 11 boxes of Ewoks at that point. And
that's just the core of the army.
And that's just the Ewok part, right? And then you need to own an ATST, and then you need to have the Rebel heroes. You can get like the heroes from the Echo Base box, but then if you want to run Rebel Troopers, then you have to get that separately also. And so if you were just like playing Legion from scratch, it's just a lot. And
do you accept 3D prints in your tournaments?
Not well in local tournaments, yes. In GTs, like they will show up every so often, but like the official rules is that they should not be there, and so you don't typically see them. I've not seen any fully 3D printed Ewok army.
I have. Somebody basically got disqualified 2 years ago at Worlds for bringing a fully 3D printed Ewok army. I remember because Will Pagani came over and like had to like handle it. And like I think this is an interesting point, but I do see a lot of 3D prints, but what I don't see is I don't see people 3D printing an entire list.
That's so much effort.
Well, I mean, it's so much effort, but it's also like, I think it's one thing if it's like, I have my Luke Skywalker as a Cal Kestis mini, as opposed to half my army is 3D printed,
Yeah.
I've done some 3D printed replacements, like the pikes that I used in my old Republic armies are all like Naboo Guard and Padme's Handmaidens and stuff, which is cool. And people were pretty chill with that because I think it was kind of like a rule of cool thing. But I always brought my pikes with me in the event that somebody wasn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I would be a little bit, if we were at a tournament and somebody pulled up with like an entire 3D printed Ewok army, I think I'd be, I don't know how I'd feel about that, because and the reason I say that is because one of the reasons that me as a like very competitive Legion player hasn't done it is because like I have to spend $500 to do it on top of like my already ginormous collection, right? Like I own basically everything in the game from every faction, and I have like 3 Ewoks. I have like enough Ewoks to like run them as like a little contingent in a rebel list, but
it's like a lot of assembly work, and it's not as bad as Geonosians, but it's
I care less about that.
It's not super easy either.
I don't know. Maybe that's like a gatekeeping thing to say, to be like, I don't think people should be able to like 3D print this army, but like I don't have a 3D. Like I can't 3D print it without paying a significant amount of money,
Well, it would maybe this will be for the Festivus episode, but the central problem is that if people are not paying for the game, then the game has problems existing. But that's
I think yes.
That's sort of where I land, and it's not great that like not every army has to cost the same, right? Like, so
that's fair.
There's a lot of armies that are going to be really, really accessible. With Ewoks is not one that is. It is a problem that quite possibly the best list in the game is also the most expensive. Like that in and of itself is a bit of an issue.
I mean, it depends on your viewpoint there.
I'm talking from the player viewpoint, since that's what we are, and then we're not the company that makes it. And so that part does feel a little bit rough, but to me, that's the only bad part. And it does feel, Ewoks feel a little bit good, but I also, I don't know what they would change first about that list.
I also feel like that's just a list.
Slinger
like
Super is maybe too cheap. That's the easiest thing I can think of.
If your opponent shows up with 3 flamethrowers, you just kind of are like,
yeah, but then
I don't know. And I do think that flamethrowers are like low key pretty good, and people just like kind of aren't playing them at the moment.
No, I mean, I think that's right. I think that the Empire players have the toughest choices to make there, but even then they have 2 choices, so it's not all that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, to sum it all up, they cost a lot of money. I think that's the main reason why they're not seen as much.
Do you guys have a lot of Ewok players up there?
In Quebec, just 1 or 2 guys, I think, but not so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that in Europe, it was sort of like a movement that started. Kind of like started in France and then has spread out because it's obviously like very good. So, yeah, well, it'll, at the very least, it'll be easier to build an Ewok army when they come out with the new boxes, because they'll have a super squad in every box.
Are they doing new boxes for Ewoks? I was under the impression they were.
They're in, I think it's Q2, but I mean, they're doing a new box for everything, right? So
I was under the impression the new Ewok box was just new packaging, and it wasn't like It was like on the reissue list as opposed to
but it's the same as Geonosians, right? Where the Geo box now has a super squad in it, and before it was a standard squad of Geos per box.
Okay.
So
I thought those were on two separate lists, but I could be wrong about that.
Nah, yeah, I think it's a core unit just like Geos are. So, the Geos were the first like reprint of the many that we're going to get. But
okay.
Well, before we go, Nicolas, you have a podcast, right?
Yeah, in French.
It's in French, so we should say that up front. But yeah, like if in case we have any listeners who speak French, what's it called and where can folks find it?
Saint-Tatouin du Sarlac. Saint-Tatouin of Sarlac, I guess.
Yep.
In English.
Yeah. Saint Tatouin of Sarlac.
Yeah.
There seems to be a Sarlac theme in Quebec. Like, is there an origin story there?
No, not really.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
Like,
so yeah,
Sarlacs are cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm a fan. It's definitely how I got like my nickname. Also, it's like Velociraptors are cool. When I was 11 years old.
Okay.
And I just kept it since then.
Okay.
Yeah, now everyone knows. So thank you again for being here, Nicolas.
Thank you.
We will have you back to talk about some other kind of broken BS that CIS has in a couple months. So can't wait for that. And Mike, how do we land the plane?
Yeah, so this has been, I think, I'm all like screwed up because we've got like episodes that haven't released and stuff.
With you about
it's
what
okay.
episode it was.
We're gonna. It's okay. It is generally your fault. So it's fine.
That's fair.
This has been the Notorious Scoundrels, Season 4, Episode 31. I'm Mike.
Nicholas.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.